Miles, thank you very much. And can I also add my welcome to Miles, to all of you who have joined us today for our Skills Commission, both you in the room and those who've joined us online. This is a flagship event for the City UK and the Skills Commission, so I'm delighted to see so many people here today. Now, you might have wondered when you came here what on earth Aldersgate was or is. Aldersgate was one of the 7 gateways to Roman London. So the walls around the city have seen London thrive and prosper over 2 millennia. We thrived and prospered as a commercial and financial capital because of the ability of the city and the broader financial services centre to reinvent itself in response to internal and external shocks. Think about Big Bang, the globalization of the financial sector, the rise of the dollar and the demise of the pound, open outcry trading being replaced by trading desks. All of these were challenges to the preeminent position of the UK's financial services sector. Yet, the sector has withstood all of these shocks and used them as a growth opportunity. Today, with AI, we are at a similar point. Yes, the sector has always evolved with technology, but this shift is different. It's not incremental. It's system-wide, pervasive, and accelerating. The core question for us in the sector is not whether change is coming, but how is it going to change how our sector works, and are we ready for it? And I hope what you will see over the course of today are some ideas about how we will respond to that challenge on a sector-wide basis. But to help us navigate this challenge, last year the Treasury Commission and the Financial Services Skills Commission looked at how AI and other disruptive technologies will disrupt the sector over the next 5 to 10 years, and how this change will impact our skills and our workforce. The report that we published today is the first phase of that work. And I have to say, the work we have done to get to this point has been wide-ranging. I'd like to thank Lloyds Banking Group, PwC, City of London Corporation, and the City UK for their support in pulling this together. To produce the report, we've interviewed 53 individuals, held 12 round tables, half of which have been across the UK, held an open call for evidence, reviewed 200 pieces of research, and benefited from 2 original data contributions by EY and KPMG. So it means that in this report, what we can share is a broad range of views about the impact of AI and other disruptive technologies on the sector, how we are responding to that now, and identify some of the challenges. And I'd encourage you, as well as there's a pamphlet on each of your tables, which brings out the highlights, but there's also an in-depth report on our website. I would encourage you to look at it. The first phase of the report answers 3 broad questions. It looks at the disruptive technologies at play and how they are being used. It looks at how work and skills are being and will be disrupted. And then it looks at some of the challenges the sector will face in the future. Let me say a bit first about the technologies. We've looked at a wide range of technologies in this report, including quantum computing and blockchain. But it is AI in all its forms that is currently driving the structural, system-wide transformation of our sector. We should not underestimate the impact of AI on what we do. It offers significant opportunities for growth and productivity, but it also presents challenges, and we need to respond to those effectively. From our work, we can see that the use of AI in our businesses is expanding rapidly. It's getting increasingly embedded in core processes, summation, risk, fraud detection, customer services, claims handling. We're starting to see the potential for hyper-personalization agents who can search and transact on behalf of their owner. Leading firms like Lloyds Banking Group, and there's a case study in today's report, are now embedding AI into core operations, from customer service to risk and decision making. We're seeing Gen AI being used for analysis, reporting, and operations. Early agentic AI trials are beginning to explore and investigate their potential. It's early days for agentic AI, but the technology has the potential to transform workflows across the sector, with early trials in insurance claims processing, underwriting support, software programming, and undertaking structured research. Adoption, we found, is enthusiastic, but also, I have to say, it's cautious and uneven. Whilst there are some firms that are leading in its adoption, others see themselves more as fast followers. But one of the key messages that comes out from our report is that success very much depends upon execution. There's a clear need for strong data, modern systems, effective governance, confident leadership, clear strategy, consumer confidence, and an enhanced focus on workforce skills to make this transformation a success. So let me just focus for a moment on workforce skills. What we can see is that work has been redesigned, not eliminated. You will know from your own experience the tasks that you do that can be automated, can be accelerated by using ChatGPT, Copilot, or Claude. So what we're starting to see that most roles are likely to see a gradual but significant automation of between 30 to 50% of the tasks that make up roles today. Tasks that involve manual, repeatable processes are more likely to be automated, whereas tasks that require more interpersonal and strategic thinking are more likely to remain human-led. But also, as more of the tasks that were previously completed by new joiners become automated, it will now take longer for a new joiner to gain full competency in a role. This time to competency gap puts the pressure on entry routes into our sector and the structured learning and development that individuals joining the sector will need to receive. No role is likely to be untouched in this transformation, and firms will need to reassemble tasks between people and technology. But as we talk to people who've been through this process, it's very clear it's not straightforward. You will need to make decisions about the balance between people and technology. This will be about strategy, ethos, governance, and risk, seeking to answer the question about optimizing judgment and experience and the benefits of technology. Now, just up the road from us here in Aldersgate is Slough House, the home of Mick Harron's slow horses. Now, whilst they'd be loath to admit it, Jackson Lamb and Roddy Ho need each other. Jackson Lamb brings, amongst his other qualities, experience, insight, and wisdom, whilst Roddy has the technical wizardry needed to find and package different data sources. Now, bringing them both together is crucial to how the slow horses can outsmart the park. So that combination of human and machine is a vital choice for us to make. So there is no binary choice. Is it people or machines? It's about the right blend to get the right outcome for us. I want to raise a question with you that many people have asked during the course of our research. What's going to be the outcome of AI when we think about the size of the FS workforce? Now, I'm not going to predict the future. It'd be foolish in a fast-moving technological world to try to predict the future and its impact. But can I just point out that if you look back over the last 40 years, think about the change that we've seen in the sector. Think about the technology change. We've seen digital banking, the rise of ATMs, the use of the internet. We still employ in the sector 1 million people. We have done over the last 40 years. What we've seen is the change in the composition of that workforce, the move from higher to lower skill roles. And I think what we will see is definitely a change in the composition of skills, talent, and expertise in the workforce. but we will need to take positive action in order to bring that about. So let's think about our approach to skills and talent. In the future, we will need more highly skilled people. With an increased demand for technical skills around digital literacy and AI, as well as behaviours such as critical thinking, adaptability, creativity, and leadership and change management, alongside the traditional financial services expertise. I think what we will see is an increased premium on the ability to learn continuously. Once and done is no longer a suitable way to reskill in financial services. One of our members, Danske Bank, have an immersive process called Make It My Business to create learning experience across the business to strengthen curiosity through colleague collaboration. And it's a great example of how you can build a core program to upskill a wide set of colleagues. But it's not just thinking about those who currently work in the sector. Over the next decade, we will need to recruit and train 450,000 people to replace those who leave the sector through turnover or through retirement. So that itself presents a significant challenge around recruitment and training. We also know that the shift and adoption of AI will be uneven. There'll be a greater impact when roles are routine and automatable. There is also a risk of regional and gender disparities widening. Without action, transformation may increase inequality and constrain our talent pipeline. This requires us to rethink our approach to strategic workforce planning, to think about upskilling and reskilling differently, and to reshape the entryways for early careers and experienced hires. And to respond, we'll need collaboration between employers, education providers, government, and other stakeholders to redesign pathways and ensure individuals are equipped with the experience and skills needed to be the managers and leaders of the future. So our report identifies 5 challenges. The first is, how do we upscale and reskill our workforce at speed and scale? How do we rethink our entry pathways into the sector, both for early careers and experienced hires? Pathways that allow people to learn, gain experience, and progress. We need to think about how we close that time to competence gap that will be growing without us taking positive action. We need to think about how we enable transition from other sectors. A skills-based approach opens up opportunity for new talent to join us from other sectors. And finally, how do we collaborate across the sector, government, education, across the nations and regions of this country to require the shift required? So where to next? As I said, this is the first phase of our report. And in the next phase, we'll look at how the sector, government, and stakeholders can address those challenges collectively. And we'll produce a further report with a set of detailed recommendations. But in parallel with this, we're also working as the Skills Commission at the request of the Treasury on a skills compact. How do we as a sector redouble our efforts to upskill the people who work with us? How do we drive action collectively alongside stronger collaboration between government and industry? And so we'll be launching shortly a skills compact, and it will have 2 central commitments. The first is to ensure that our workforce is future ready by upskilling them in AI and other critical skills over a rolling 3-year period. And secondly, how do we maintain or grow structured routes into our organisation for new talent? All regulated firms are welcome to sign the compact, and we expect to launch it in July. However, you have the opportunity to be amongst one of the first to sign up before we launch it later this year. So do speak to me or to Claire Tunney, our CEO, or other members of the FSSC team if your firm is interested in taking part in really driving forward at pace, upskilling and reskilling in the sector. So as I said earlier, today is an opportunity to explore the findings of the report and to begin to discuss how we address the challenges. As I said earlier, the sector has shown over many centuries, an ability to respond strongly to disruption. We can see that both the scale of the challenge from AI, its systemic, pervasive, and accelerating nature, really does present a significant challenge to us. But that challenge is also a significant opportunity. There's a prize out there for us as a sector if we rise to that challenge. We should also recognize that rising to that challenge is not straightforward. So we do need to think through, communicate, and act upon the changes that we need to make to equip our people with the right skills they need to take the best advantage of the impact of AI and other disruptive technologies. Thank you very much.